What's good, Cowboy Nation? This your boy Cole's Cowboys. Hey, happy Super Bowl Sunday. We about to go ahead and see who gonna get that crown this year. You know, of course I'm going for the Dallas Texans, aka the Kansas City Chiefs. I fully expect Patrick Mahomes to get the job done. Keeping those 49ers at 5 Lombardis with us, you know. Hey, them 49ers bigger chokers than us, so we'll just hope that they choke today again, you know. We cannot let them get one up on us. It'll be terrible if they did. But I got some Cowboy news. I got some Cowboy news. Of course, Jerry gonna go ahead and let that Cowboy news leak on out around the Super Bowl. You know, he gotta get people talking about the Cowboys even on the Super Bowl. So let's get into it. So first of all, waking up early in the morning, Ian Rappaport basically breaks out that, hey, expect the Cowboys to get Dak's extension done before the trade deadline. So, well, before the trade deadline starts, and you know, not trade deadline, but before the trading period starts. So, pause. My apologies. I'm all over. Before free agency. My apologies. Free agency. That's what I was looking for. So yeah, they got to get the deal done. They got to extend Dak Prescott, whether you love it or hate it. This is the best move for the Cowboys if we're going all in. If we're really going all in and making moves and getting Micah paid and getting CeeDee Lamb paid and going shopping in the top tiers of free agency, we need to free up money. Dak Prescott is the only way to do it. You cannot tag him. You cannot trade him. You can't do nothing but pay him. And why would you want to get rid of a Pro Bowl quarterback, a quarterback that's runners up as an MVP candidate? Why would you want to get rid of him? That doesn't make any sense, you know. So, hey, I've been there whenever we didn't even have a quarterback, when we was going through that whole carousel before we got Tony Romo. And I've been there during the turn of Tony Romo. I like Tony Romo, but at the same time, Tony Romo, we had those same issues with him. At least with Dak, I feel like we're close. You know, and Dak had a great season. He did. He took great care of the ball. Everybody was out on Dak because he was quote unquote a turnover machine. Didn't see that in his game last year. He's a great leader. I mean, you got to look at all these teams that don't got quarterbacks. I mean, come on now. Like, there's teams out there still looking for their quarterback, and they haven't had one. So, I ain't saying Dak is a good quarterback. We should be thankful that we got him. I'm just saying, man. But neither here or there. You know, Dak is due a contract extension. And the best time to get it done is before free agency. So that's what they're aiming towards. Dak has all the leverage. So they're going to go ahead and give him his money. It really depends on how much they give him. You know, it's up to Dak. I feel like if the Cowboys organization just did Dak right, Dak wouldn't clean them out. But the snaky things that Steven and Jerry do is when it comes to contract negotiations, it make you want to be like, you know what? Fuck it, man. Let me get all the money I can get, man. Because these guys, they terrible at negotiations. Let's just be real. The Joneses are terrible when it comes to contract negotiations. So they feel like just for playing for the Cowboys is a privilege. Nah, man, you're another team just like the rest of the other 31 teams in this league. Shoot, you gotta pay up, man. When it comes to contract, shoot, you gotta pay up. I don't care about all the attention the Cowboys get, the star. Nah, they don't give a fuck about that when it comes to that money. Shoot, pay your players. But anyway, man, that's one of the news that came out. Another one that's very intriguing. So, I never did a video on the Mike Zimmer hire because I always personally felt like it was still, you know, a little hole in some things. So apparently, it was between Wes Ryan and Mike Zimmer. Of course, the Zimmer, they said that we expected to signed Zimmer, but it was nothing official. The ink is not set on the paper. So Rex Ryan today, this morning, on ESPN, he did state that he talked to Mike McCarthy, and he stated that Mike McCarthy basically said that nothing was set. It was nothing like, official of Zimmer being the defensive coordinator. Of course, Rex Ryan is in the talks of wanting to be a defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. He stated that this is a great roster that we have. We have great talent. And yeah, he's been out the game for 7 years, but he feel like this team is very close, and he wants to be a part of getting us over the hump as far as, making the moves on our defense. I like Rex Ryan. I was very high on having Rex Ryan as a defensive coordinator for us. With that being said, I also felt the same way about Mike Zimmer. I like Mike Zimmer as well. And Mike Zimmer, the reason why I leaned a little bit closer to Mike Zimmer was because of the fact that he's recently coached in this game. Even though he was a head coach, he still called plays for the defense when he was with the Vikings a couple of years ago. So that's why I was like, okay. And I like the way both guys are very aggressive coaches. Very they hold their players to accountability. Rex Ryan is a more, open, talkative guy. Like he'll go in ahead and he'll check a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That's just how he is. If something ain't right, he gonna call you out on the bull. And that's what we need on this team. We need a guy like that. Even whenever he been on Get Up and stuff, and they talk about how our defense played or how some of the players played, he wasn't having that. He didn't bite his tongue. He called it how he see it. And I'm like, okay, if you talking that talk, I want to see how you walk the walk when it comes to being a coach for the Cowboys. When it comes to being a coach to this defense, how much will you bring out of Micah Parsons? How much will you bring out of DeMarcus Lawrence and them boys? You know what I'm saying? Will you make the certain steps of getting big guys up front and attracting some linebackers, on this team? Like, will you make some moves on that? So that's what I look forward to as far as if Rex Ryan is the guy. But everything is still unofficial as far as our DC. Very exciting, because we won't change on our defense. Dan Quinn, I'm not going to take nothing away from Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn is a good, very, very good defensive coordinator. He turned around our defense that was bad, very, very mediocre. It was actually terrible after, being dealt with Mike Nolan. But he weeded out a lot of players that just didn't have that juice. He got some of his guys in. He brought his philosophy in, and we end up being one of the top defensive teams in the league especially when it comes to turnovers. But his philosophy when it came to getting, stopping the run and stuff like that, that was just his biggest Achilles heel that he never was able to bounce back from. Now, hopefully, with the new DC, we can go ahead and build a foundation of stopping the run and actually applying that towards the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying that Dan Quinn never stopped the run, because the defense did have moments when they stopped the run. I made a tweet. Basically, I made a mistake and said that DQ never had a defense that stopped the run. I was wrong, and I was called out on it, respectfully. But I can pivot back whenever we had that playoff game against the 49ers. The defense did hold Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel under, as far as breaking out on runs. They did their job. They did a great job. The offense just didn't show up. And then, now, of course, it vice versa. Whenever this year we just didn't have the guys that, the big guys, the guys that can stop the run. We were dealing with having some defensive backs playing linebacker. And it was just, the Green Bay Packers just knew what to do on us. So hopefully, Dan Quinn ran his course. Now it's just time for us to go out there and reset, the philosophy of this team. And I believe we will. I believe everything will be okay. I believe we'll be able to move forward. Let me know what y'all think. How do y'all feel about Dak Prescott's contract? I already know I got a lot of subscribers that's really against Dak Prescott. And I get it, man. I mean, let's just have a little heart to heart. I get that y'all are frustrated that we have not made it over the hump in the playoffs, but you know, as far as the NFC Championship, we haven't made it there with Dak Prescott. You gotta think the same guys that's still crying about Dak Prescott being the problem. No, I mean Tony Romo. We didn't make it far with Tony Romo, you know, and guys before. Like we haven't made it past the NFC, made it to the NFC Championship game since 96. So the only person that's been on this team that long in that whole stretch of time is only one guy. Well, two guys. And that's Jerry and Stephen Jones. Y'all letting them off the hook, man. So, you know, I get y'all feel like Dak ain't it. But I mean, who else we gonna bring in? Who else we gonna bring in that's gonna take us? My thing about switching quarterbacks. You don't want to switch a quarterback just because you mad because y'all lost. When you look at that last game, yes, Dak didn't play good, but neither did CD and neither did the defense. The whole team shit the bed. You can't just blame it on one person altogether for that game. You know? We didn't even have no running game. In the playoffs, you got to have a running game. And in the playoffs, you got to be able to stop the run, and we had neither. So, I mean, I don't get why everybody want Dak Prescott to be the main guy taking all these hits, man. So, yeah, I mean, just let me know what y'all think. Thanks for all the new subscribers. Hey, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Share this content. Your boy, you know, I'm going to be consistent in this thing because I want to grow. I want this channel to grow. If you're not following me on X/Twitter, follow me on Cole's Cowboys. Now, that's my bread and butter on Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter. That I'm very like Twitter. I'm blowing up on Twitter. I just need to blow up on pause on YouTube. You know, so I'm looking forward to bringing y'all good content and letting y'all know what my thoughts is about this team. And I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Y'all be easy, stay safe, and go Cowboys.